Hey guys, today I got a new deck profile for you. We're going to do Spirits. Alright guys, let's get into it. Now, I've been using this deck for some time and kind of switching it. I was in the Herald build for a while and it was okay. But I kind of like this rank 4 spam build. It's fun, it works. Still trying to figure it out. I'm putting a lot of work into it. But I got something that functions, and it functions pretty well. And it's a good core. And some interesting ideas in here. If they're stupid, please tell me. I am really open on this deck because I would really like it to be super, super good. Alright, first up, we got Metaion the Time Lord. This guy's really kind of neat. Alentheo's channel gave me this idea. I didn't even know this card existed. It's a fairy, which is kind of fun, but more importantly, basically you just play this thing and it can attack and you take no damage and then it bounces everything on the field. It's really kind of neat. It's really great for dealing with problem monsters you have no other way of getting rid of. It's kind of fun. This is the first time I've ever played this in the non-Herald build, so this will be interesting. Next up is BLS. Because he's BLS, my deck can play him pretty well. He's a lot of fun, and I find that he steals games. Next up is something I have kind of gone back to. I got away from this guy for a while, but he's kind of fun. Hino Kagusuchi. Basically, if you can normal summon this thing, and you do any battle damage with them whatsoever, your opponent discards their entire hand the next turn right before they do their draw phase. It's really powerful early in the game, and if I can sack you at this thing, it's great. So it's only at 1. Next up, we have Archlord Christia, basically because just because basically if you can drop this thing, you can win games. Keeps your opponent from special summoning. I can't special summon either, but I don't really care. Next up, we got Dark Dust Spirit. He's kind of your nuke. He's your spirit bomb. Get it? Because it's never mind. Anyway, next up we got Yaksha. He bounces one spell or trap on the field when he's normal summoned. This can get around a lot of weird situations. He's quite fun. And he's got 1900 attack, which is quite strong, actually. Next up is Zephyros. This is a new one to the deck. I haven't really played tested him much, but I kind of find that he's kind of a hoot in this deck. He's dark, he's able to special summon himself, and half the time since he's a level 4, I can make a rank with him. It's really kind of nice. Next up is Resetsu. Basically, when he's normal summoned, you can bounce one monster your opponent has as long as it's in face-up attack position. This is really nice, and because all spirits go back to the hand at the end of the turn, you can just keep using this guy. So he's really good against Shaddolls. I find that I pretty much rely on him in that matchup. Next up, Hecatrice. He's kind of an interesting little card. Basically, he's a level 4 fairy. You never play it. You just discard to search this card, which I'll explain later. Next up is Izanami, or I'm a Nazi, spelled backwards. Ooh! Basically, Izanami is your draw card, although unintentionally so. Basically, you discard a spirit to get a spirit back from your grave, and I'll explain the combo with this later. Next up, you got Kage de Kage. Basically, he lets you make your rank 4 plays. Very nice. Aratama, the main searcher of the deck. When he's normal summoned, you can add a spirit to your hand. He's a fiend, though. It's kind of annoying. Next up is Nikotama. He's the main engine of the deck, and basically he gives you an extra normal summon of a spirit when he is normal summoned. And if this gets hit by any effect negation, it doesn't actually work. So if your opponent tries to breakthrough skill this thing, you still gain the effect. It has to be summoned, and once you summon it, you gain the effect. As soon as it hits the board, you can't negate it. If he does go into a skill drain that's already been established on the board, it will work, but that's like most things. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard in any way, shape, or form, while you control another spirit, you can draw a card, which is your combo with Izanami. Basically, you normal summon Izanami, discard Nikotama to add another Nikotama back, and you can draw a card as well. It's actually really dumb. It's a silly loop. And then you have Battle Fader. Basically, all your spirits bounce back to the hand, and you need Battle Fader, because sometimes you have open boards. I was using Swift Scarecrow in an older build, but I switched back to Battle Fader because I added in the level 6 and the level 8, which I didn't have before. Next up is pretty much the main tech of the deck is Creature Swap. It's really derpy. You summon a spirit, play Creature Swap, take their best guy, give them a spirit, then just end your turn, and the spirit goes back to your hand, so you're left with a monster and they're left with nothing. It's really dumb. Normally you do it with Aratama. If you don't have much in your hand, and you're like, ah, crap, I need to build my hand. Aratama, Creature Swap, here, take this thing. I get my search, I get your monster, and then this thing goes back to my hand and play next turn. Next up, we have Upstart Goblin. This is basically just for draw power. 3 MST. I hate running 3 MST, but it's necessary in this format. Ugh, 3 MST. It's such a waste of space. Ugh. Oh, this could be so much other stuff. But anyway. Next up, Monarch Stormforth. I have a love-hate relationship with this card and this deck because it locks out my extra deck. In Battery Men, it's great because I never use that thing anyway. But in this... although it is kind of fun to Monarch Stormforth a problem monster and then blow everyone else up. But like that's a hoot. And because I can search him or him pretty much any turn I want, these are really never dead, which is kind of fun. Also, with Monarch Stormforth, I can play Monarchs, normal summon Nikotama, gain the extra normal summon, and summon him with nothing on board. It's really kind of nice. And if I get rid of your monster, I can just bean you with this thing if you don't have anything else. Oh, it's so derpy. Anyway, next up we have Valhalla Hall of the Fallen, or Valhalla Hall of Hall. Say that 10 times fast. Anyway, Valhalla Hall of the... I can't even do it once. Valhalla Hall of the Fallen is a continuous spell that says once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can special summon one fairy type from your hand. Great. Awesome. You play Christia with it. You guys have no idea how many times I've sacked people with these 2 cards. You draw this first turn, it's awesome. Or you play this, wait for a response. If nothing, you play this, wait for a response. And if they do something, oh, you lost Christia, but you have the entire rest of your hand of spirits to do your rank 4 toolbox. Or you drop Christia and your opponent can't do anything about it, and then they have to deal with not being able to special summon for the rest of the duel, which pretty much breaks the entire meta right now. Everyone special summons. This being on board is a major problem. Also, as a continuous spell, you can bounce this thing for Zephyros. And because you always have these things, it's crazy how much you've always got one of these. You can pretty much play this, bounce it with Zephyros. Play it again. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It lets you make your rank 4s. It's really kind of nice. But last but not least, we have Snatch Steal. This was Regeki before, but now it's Snatch Steal because it's Snatch Steal. Snatch Steal is really good. If you're not running Snatch Steal, you're not good at this game. Let's be honest. It needs to be in your deck. Okay, the rank 4s are really what makes this deck shine. It can pump these out like nothing. Pretty much, we got Crazy Box for the skill drain play because it's really funny to watch your opponents go bug-eyed when they drop skill drain on you, and they're like, oh, you can't do anything. You're like, oh yeah, Crazy Box. It's like, it's just in here. Next up, we got Rebellion Dragon because, you know, he's powerful. He's pretty good. Gets over a lot of beat sticks that rank 4s really have problems with. Pure attack power monsters with some sort of inherent defense is really annoying for rank 4 because none of them are particularly strong. So we got Rebellion Dragon. And then we have Cairn Gorgon, the Anti-Luminescent Knight. Ugh. He's kind of fun. If something targets something on the field, you can detach and switch that said target. It's really kind of nice. Ragnar Zero, if we want to pop something with different attack, always a good card. King of the Feral Imps, he searches your Kage, so you can keep your rank 4 engine going. Black Ship of Corn, he's in here because, you know, every once in a while, you need your Black Ship of Corn. Same with 101. Again, every once in a while, you need 101. And again, Castle, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. Every once in a while, you need a Castle. Diamond Direwolf, he kind of finds his way in and out of the deck. If I had multiple copies of either of these two, they would take precedence over him. I've even thought about putting in Heartland Drago over him, just because this can steal a game. But every once in a while, you need to pop something that you can't get rid of any other way, and it's really nice to have Diamond Direwolf, even though he's really bad. Next up, Steel Swarm Roach. I don't like dragons. I hate dragons. Someone at Locals is always playing dragons, and they always drop that Felgrand thing on me, and it's just the worst to deal with. This deck has no good answer to it. it's so annoying. So pretty much he's just in for my Locals. You wouldn't ever run this competitively. But Steel Swarm Roach, not bad. You might tech him in. Against, you know, game 2, you're like, oh, my opponent's playing like Synchro or something, a Synchro spam, and plays a bunch of really high-level guys. I'm gonna drop this. Exciton, his older brother, Exciton, he's actually really hard to play in this deck because this deck maintains hand advantage very well. It's actually the one thing it does extremely well, and I'll explain a little why in later. But if you can get him off, you can get him off. Next up is the star of the deck, Lavalval Chain. This man is the man. Why it's not a dinosaur or a dragon, I don't know. But hey, it's a sea serpent, and it's not the only good sea serpent in the entire game. And pretty much because you use him to top deck BLS. Emerald for draw power late in the game, and to reset the entire engine. Gaga Cowboy steals games, and Rhapsody and Berserk is to get rid of weird stuff. And with any of the rank 4s, basically, your number 1 play is to summon Nikitama, special summon Kagura Kage, normal summon Aratama, search a Nikitama, overlay with Kagura Kage and Nikitama into Lavalval Chain, detach Nikitama, top deck whatever you need at the time, most likely Blackluster Soldier or Medion, the 2 cards you can't search in this deck. And then when this is sent to the graveyard, it activates. So because you detached it, it now activates, and you draw the card you just top decked. So basically, you've gone plus. It's amazing. It's great. The only other way to go more plus is to play King of the Feral Imps. You get a random card you drew, not the card you top decked, but you also get a Kagura Kage. So you search twice, draw once, as opposed to search once and draw once. It's really not bad. You'll find yourself making him or him turn 1, depending on what you need. The side deck is pretty standard for me. Flying Sea against Burning Abyss and S-Knights. System down for Cleese. Nullman of the Crossout for Shadalls. Chain Disappearance for Burning Abyss or anything else running a lot of weak monsters, and then Breakthrough Skill because once in a while going hardcore quick turbo build needs to be slowed down to deal with monsters like Majesty's Fiend that your opponent sides in game 2 and it's just you can't do anything about. Alright guys, that was Spirits. Any suggestions, put them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some duels, and remember, if you can't troll the meta, who will?